Hello, my name is Stacy Suttery and I'm MCCSC's Outreach and Innovation Coordinator. Today we're going to answer the focus question, what is soil? During this investigation, we will observe several solids that combine to make a mixture called soil. Have you heard of soil before? If you helped your grown-up in the garden, I bet you have. Soil is an earth material that can be made up of sand, gravel, small pebbles, and humus. We looked at those materials in yesterday's assignment, but today we're going to use them again. We're going to begin by mixing them together. So I have my humus. We're going to mix in some sand, some pebbles, oh sorry, that was the gravel. And here's some pebbles. We are going to mix them up to make some soil. Now, a lot of the time, some of our pebbles are a little smaller in our soil, and some soils may have some other materials as well. During some of our other experiments, we separated mixtures. In our solids and water experiment, we used a spoon, or sometimes we were able to separate the items with our hands. Do you think we could separate the different solids in this soil mixture that way? Think about what we might need to do in order to separate some of these smaller solids. Let's start by putting some of the solid on a paper plate. So let's put some of our soil there. Okay. Can we separate it by hand? I think there's certain pieces we probably could. But could we get all of it separated? Can I separate the sand and some of the little gravel? I'm not so sure. What if we shake it back and forth a little? Does it separate it a little? Let's try using screens to separate the materials. We're going to start with a large screen and then move to smaller ones. Here I have another plate, and here's my large screen that I'm going to start with. You can see that the mesh on that is pretty big. So what we're going to do is pour through the screen. Did that help us sort? It helped us get some of the pebbles out. We'll keep the pebbles to the side. Let's see now. What if we went with a smaller screen? This one is a little bit smaller on the mesh. You can compare them. You can see that that one is smaller. Let's see if we pour through that. Does it get any more of our items separated? Now we were able to keep our pebbles and most of our gravel out and some of the humus. Now let's try an even smaller screen. So this was our medium screen, and now here's our smallest. Let's see what it gets out now. It got some even smaller. That did a much better job, but we still didn't necessarily get our sand separate. What problem were we trying to solve by using the screens? That we couldn't separate it all by hand, and that there were some particles that were just too small to separate? Were we able to separate the soil with the screens? Some of it, right? Better than we would have done with our hands. What parts of the soil were we able to separate? The gravel the pebbles, some of the sand. It did break up the humus a little bit. How else can we separate parts of soil? Let's mix all of our soil parts back together again. And now we have our soil again. And we're going to try to put some soil into our small vial. And then we are going to add some water. Make sure you clean up your space after you're done. You can see I'm making a mess. I bet you are too. Okay, so we have some sand. Now we're going to add water to our vial. Then we are going to watch it overnight, and tomorrow we're going to look at it and see what happens. But before we do, I do want to just shake it a little bit after I put the cap on. Just going to keep putting a little bit more water in. You can see that the water is absorbed just like in your garden. Did you know that the majority of the land, the earthland, has soil on it? Okay. Now we're going to put our lid on. Okay, so we have it still. Let's see if we shake it. Does it do anything? See, it looks like it mixed it maybe a little bit. We'll revisit it tomorrow and see if anything has changed.